what do you
So
say?
tell me again.
You ready to dig in?
Sure am,
Mike.
Okay, sure
Let's
am.
grow. We all go this
Yeah,
this
don't
way.
hit me with
I
that.
won't. Hi everybody. Hi everybody. I'm Michael, and this is my gardening companion,
Amy.
who also just happens to be my
His
favorite
sister.
older sister. And in today's quick tips, we're going to show you some potting mixes that we recommend for tropical plants and also for cactus and succulents. So Amy, you ready to dig in?
Sure am, Mike.
Let's grow!
Grow.
You just said grow.
Well, you went so fast.
It's a quick tip. So what are you doing, Amy?
I'm thinking.
Yeah?
What are in all these different bags?
Yeah, right? We got a lot out here. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with the tropical potting mix.
This one here?
Yes. And for the Mexican heather that we have before you, which is native to Central America. Ooh, thank you, Amy. And you can also use other plants like coleus, if you could show them, Amy, behind you. The red, I've done some of those. These actually make great interior house plants, but these also do really well. Those go really, really big, so you really don't need to put but one in a container like this if you're gonna grow them. But for today's video, we're gonna be putting the Mexican heather in here, and we're gonna start with this tropical potting mix ratio. We're gonna use 6 parts or 60% tropical potting mix. Thank you. Then we're going to use 30% worm castings. These are awesome because they provide a lot of rich organics for your plants to grow in. And then 10% perlite. And we're going to mix that all together, and that's going to form a wonderful, wonderful tropical potting mix that we recommend. You could use just the tropical potting mix itself. It's great for fiddle leaf. It's great for pothos. It's also great for Swiss cheese plant, but we like this. We like to enrich ours a little bit more, and we found that the plants respond really well to that. So now that we also in this container, we're going to add some lava rock at the bottom to help with drainage, but it's not really going to improve the soil, but it's just going to help with some of the drainage, and a little bit of charcoal. This is great to add. It's a nice soil conditioner, and we're going to add like just a few shovelfuls, like a full cup to this container on both of these, so that the plants have this conditioner in the soil to help. Now that we've talked about that, we're going to go over here and talk about the cactus mix, which is a great mix to use for the
succulents.
Yes, that's the crown of thorns, and this is native.
Be careful when you touch it.
Yes, because they have
thorns.
But it's a beautiful, beautiful succulent. And she's native to Madagascar. Let me rotate her around. You see some thorns in here, kind of buried in there. But a wonderful, wonderful plant for a container. We have this in our sister-in-law, Rosie's house, and she took these. We had these crown of thorns planted in a planter at our Miami Shores home for many years on our front porch. And then when we moved and we went to our apartment, we gave it to Rosie and Wilson, and they now have it on their front porch of their house, and the crown of thorns is just doing fantastic. So this is a great succulent for a container. And the potting mix we recommend is a cactus potting mix. We like Miracle Grow brand, as you know from a lot of our videos, but there's other great ones out there. Espoma has some, but we want to do a mix in this ratio. We want to go with 70% of cactus mix. Thank you, Amy. 10% of potting mix with this, 10% perlite, 10% worm castings. We're going to take all of these and we're going to put them in a container back there, and we're going to mix it all together, and we're going to use that for our potting mix. We're also going to add a cupful of the charcoal, ta-da, thank you, to add in there for conditioning that soil as well. All right, now that we've talked about the potting mixtures, we're going to go start making the mix and installing the plants. All right, let's go on to that step. Now let's start with the tropical planting mix. So before we do that, we want to cover the drain hole. So Amy's going to put in some lava rock. 3 handfuls, please, my dear. And a big handful to finish it off. Nice. Okay, so that's going to help It's going to help with drainage. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move over here and we're going to start mixing together the ratio that we wanted to have with the tropical mix. We're going to start with that first, right? What we're going to do now is add this into the container, and then you just keep rinse and repeat to fill up the container to what you need for your plants. There you go. Look at that. Looks so good. All right. So that looks really good. All right, we're gonna add some. We're gonna finish this up real quick, and then we'll go into planting. So we're gonna speed this up. And show you and then get to planting the Mexican heather, and then we'll move on to the other plant. But before we do that, we're going to add a little bit of charcoal. So like a full cup would be one big scoop, Aim. There we go. And then when we add the other mix to this, we're just going to kind of mix it all together so that the charcoal is mixed throughout. Okay, so let's go speed it up, and then we'll go to planting the Mexican heather. Okay, now that we've got our tropical potting mix in the container at the right depth, we're going to be adding the Mexican heather. And one thing you want to make sure is that where your Mexican heather is growing in the container, you want that to be the grade in the pot here, you want it to be the same level as this plant that's growing here. You don't want to plunge your plant too deep into the soil. That'll create fungus issues. So if Amy, you could do the honors of taking out the Mexican heather, please, gently. Just sort of pull it out of the container. You can kind of, there's sometimes the roots, this one's really happy. She's growing like crazy. You can kind of squeeze this sometimes. Oh, look at those roots, you all. That's great. Now we're going to set her there because we think this is the right height. And we're going to add, you can move a little, squitch a little bit of soil around it to kind of stabilize her. Okay. Now the final level of the soil that we're going to have in the container is going to be right here. We don't want to go up to here because that'll be too high. So now we're just going to add the other two. You don't have to add three. We're going to get an instant effect with these because Mexican heather gets big. One of these would do great in a container this size, but this will really fill out real quick. And bees love this plant. Such a great plant. Super tough. Does really good in containers. Yeah, we're going to do one here and one here, Amy. Just set it there. Just kind of prop her up, and then we'll place the improved potting mix all around this when we get the third one in. Just want to set these first. Wow, she's got a lot of roots there, that one. Nice. Can you pull this out again real quick? Sometimes plants have circling roots. With perennials, it's not so much of a problem, but on larger shrubs, if you see a lot of roots that are wrapping around real thick at the base here, that could be a problem. But this stuff, these roots are very fibrous, and they're going to shoot out into the potting mix, so it's not an issue. That looks beautiful, Amy.
Thank you.
Now we just need to take the soil and fill in all around the base. So we're all done. Yay, now we're going to move on to the next one, the cactus mix. Okay. All right, now we're moving on into the cactus mix. We're going to start with the rock again. Cover the drain hole. 3 big handfuls, please. I'm telling you, my other sisters are not as helpful as you, Amy.
No.
They're not helpful at all.
No, 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 no.
Sorry, Bonnie. Sorry, Mary Nell. And we're going to add this ratio again. We're going to do, what are we going to do, Amy? 70, 10, 10, 10. 70% cactus mix, 10% potting mix. You can use a moisture controller, just regular potting mix. 10% worm castings and 10% perlite. So we're just going to add it into the container over there and do the same thing like we did for the tropical mix. Let's see where it lands. Hopefully, you may want to, it's too high. So we have to take it out and create a little divot down here. It's a little too high, so Amy's digging a little deeper in there so that it sits down below the edge.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little leaning, so it go back to you a little bit and put some soil behind. A little too close. There we go. Yes. Okay. Yep. And now we're just going to fill in the rest of the improved cactus mix. We go down the side here. Look at that. Yeah, see, the cactus mix is just so much more loose. Looking good, I must say. Looks very good, very, very good. Yep, I would pour it all in because I think it needs to be tamped down a little bit. So if you just take your glove, Amy, and go around and tamp lightly. Yeah, there we go, bingo. And then all we need to do is now water these in. If you can kick the dirt down the side. Oh, beautiful, just like my sister. All right, now let's set this up so we can do a quick closing. Let's move some of this stuff off the table. So there we have it.
High five, Mike.
There you go. Thank you, Amy, so much for helping. We have our plant in the tropical potting mix, the wonderful Mexican heather, and the crown of thorns, and our cactus mix. So if you have any thoughts or questions, just leave them in the comment section below, and we'll make sure we get back to you. Do you have any questions?
Not today.
Who's your favorite brother?
Right now, it's the wonderful man standing next to me, Michael.
But on any other day, it's going to be...
It could be
Dave, Pat, and of course our brother Joe.
the neighbor.
Who's passed, but he's always been everyone's favorite. So, until next video, bye!
Bye!
Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And tell your friends and family. We post videos weekly. Thanks!